Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, I'm about to give my commentary on an 1800 plus HD rated 3v3 MegaRandom viewer game as part of my weekly Twitch TV live streams. I'm actually already running out of voice, my goodness. I was out late last night and I'm quite tired, but this could be a potentially interesting game. So, let us see. It's going to be a 3v3. We've got... I'll just introduce the players in the game and launch it now. MegaRandom is a really interesting map because anything is possible in MegaRandom, and oftentimes we see very non-standard starts, where you might not even have a scout cavalry, maybe you'll have a skirmisher at the beginning and like a random watchtower next to your base. You just never know. Keeps people on your toes, and it's even more interesting when we're dealing with players of such a high skill caliber, which we are. Oh, I've played this map before. Oh, does anyone recognize this map from my Civilization overview videos for the new Rise of the Raja civs? Also, this performance right now that we're experiencing is some 2017 level performance I expected. The start of that game, that was running so smooth. So smooth. God damn it. Anyway, does anyone remember this map? I think that this was in I think this was my Rise of the Raja civ overviews, or at least a very similar MegaRandom map. I'm not entirely sure. But regardless, let's do the actual intro. But I swear I've seen this actual map before. So anyway, now that we're into the game, let me take a brief moment to introduce all the players. We have Francisco. He will be playing as the Grey Portuguese, teaming up with... Wow, they're actually in order for once. That's extremely abnormal, and I can't remember the last YouTube video I did where that was the case. So, Kaladin, aka Telemachos, will be playing as the Blue Malay, and Monkey Boy will be the Green Mayans. And then, on the opposing team, we have Rage Master 900, aka ... playing as the Purple Aztecs. And then we have Hardest AI, who's not actually an AI, playing as the Red Saracens. And then we have Motham playing as the Yellow Italians. However, I encourage you all, if our Hardest AI friend does well... Wait, are his islands not connected? What the fuck is up with this map? This is ridiculous. That everybody pretend like it was the Hardest AI, and send, you know, nice messages for Promi. You know, we make a Reddit thread where we... Even though this is DJ Sapsan and not the Hardest AI, you know, just... only if this turns out to be a good game, and Red does really well, that we make a Reddit thread thanking Promi for creating one of the most advanced AIs they've ever seen in any game, and we just keep all the comments, like, super serious and how we're impressed with like how in-depth the engine is. You see that force drop-off from the Hardest AI? This is absolutely insane. Oh, this is great. This is going to be watching that... This is like watching that chess championship, man. I cannot wait to see how this game turns out. And I'll have a crypt thumbnail, which is how good is the new AI. It turns out it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So... during my videos, I give my commentary on all sorts of things, and the idea generally being is I separate my videos into, you know, 3 general types. There are the ones, you know, the coaching, new player related videos. I have an Aoe2 tutorials playlist, definitely recommend that you check out. My channel is the ultimate resource for players of all skill levels. And then I do higher rated games, where I focus on advanced tips and strategies, little efficiency things so that players of an intermediate or higher level can even still learn something, and you can see some really skilled play. And then I have my ridiculous settings games like the Aegis Sudden Death Free-for-All. This kind of falls somewhere between the nutty silly game that doesn't really make any sense but is super funny, and the advanced tips game. So I'm going to try and give some advanced tips while trying my best not to laugh at how absurd this map generation is. What happened? Why is this guy... Why is the Hardest AI... I mean, the AI is so advanced that they had to gimp it by splitting the 2 islands in half, but Everyone else gets their island connected. Blue doesn't either, so the map is symmetrical. So really, like, this map is just... It's like migration, but, like, horrible. God, MegaRandom is ridiculous. Hey, Hardstyle Strategist, thank you for... He says, just wanted to drop by and wish everyone a Merry Christmas beforehand. Now I'll go to sleep. Thank you, Hardstyle Strategist. Super sweet of you. Happy holidays to you as well. Merry Christmas, my friend. Lil Octor says, Residence 22, how do you recognize that you have to go for water or fish early on? I guess there is where communication with your team is important. So, that is a great question. Let's talk a little bit about how do you know when to dock. And this is why I love doing this, live, where I get questioned by the Lockster like this. So, how do you recognize where and when to dock? Great question. So, it helps to get information from your teammates, but let's be real, a lot of them are not going to, like, ping good fish. If you're playing on, like, a map like Nomad, they might, and if you ask them, generally, here's the information your teammates will actually communicate to you. Is there fish on the map or not? And that's what you want to know when you build the dock. Because if you're playing a map like MegaRandom, for example, there might just not be fish on the map. So if a teammate sees fish, they should flare where the fish are and then say, yes, there are fish here. Same thing with a map like Nomad. So for the most part, they'll only just be telling you the existence of them, and then maybe you can get some information from them. But a lot of the information, unfortunately, you'll have to get from yourself unless you've got a Portuguese teammate. And what you want to do is you want to have your scout patrol the coastline. Let's go to... Is Francisco is he the Portuguese? Yeah, so he doesn't count. Well, he's fine. We'll just look at his island. So, you want to take your scout cavalry at the start. Patrol the coastline area. If you see some water, that triggers the dock signal in your brain. There's a specific part of the brain that tells you that you may or may not want to dock. And what you're looking for are mid to deep sea fish. Your scout cavalry, if you actually keep it up against the coastline, and I mean, like, you really want to make sure you do an effective job scouting, you'd be able to see this fish tuna. And then Francisco gets to put down his dock. So, and you want to put your dock next to the non-shore fish if possible. You want shore fish to be nearby, but fish gather food at different rates from different types of fish. So they gather slightly slower from shore fish than they do from every other type of fish. So if you see the fish tuna, put your dock there. As far as dock placement goes, you also don't want to put it ever up against the edge of the map if at all possible. Again, it depends on the map generation. Like, if it's coastal, of course you're putting it at the edge of the map. Duh. But if you have the opportunity to put it in... the deeper the sea is, the bigger the body of water is, the more likely it is to have fish. Let's see if we can find a good example of potentially bad dock placement. Okay, so this guy's island is very close to the edge of the map. Rage Master. He could put his dock here. That would be bad. You see where he did put it instead? He put it here, and this is okay, because it is near... No, this is actually good. This is actually very good dock placement, because he's got 3 mid-tier fish. Fish tuna, tuna. Is it just all tuna today? No, a little... Ooh, red snapper. If anyone gets that reference, let me know. You get nothing! Absolutely nothing! This is actually very good dock placement. You see how he didn't put it as close to the edge of the map as possible, and that's just because there will be less water there and you'll be less likely to have fish. So, where would some of the best dock placements be on a map like this? This guy. Kaladin. The legend. Who changed his name. He used to be Telemachus in every high-rated game. He changed his name to Kaladin, but we all know who you are. And, basically, this is the best area that you can put a dock. You see how he... Again, this fish is, like, just barely within the line of sight of a scout. This is, too, that he would have seen this. He also puts his houses along the coastline as well, so once he gets town watch, he'll be able to do that. And then he has the entire corner area, which he knows, based off the way the map is set up, is very unlikely to be land, and he gets the most efficient docks. Similarly, this one is very efficient by Mothop as well, because it gives him access to all of this. And I would advise against docking over here, because you want to think about how your fishing ships fan out over time. So I guess I'll just title this video Miscellaneous Fishing Eco Tips, because yes, I guess that's what I'm talking about now. You want to think about how the fish will recede over time, and if your dock placement will still be efficient. The problem with this dock is that it will become very inefficient very quickly. So the fishing ships are already clumping on each other, and clumping is the word of the day in all the advanced tip videos. Look at this unit pathing. Isn't it beautiful in 2017 to see such immaculate unit pathing, worse than the one in the original game. Worse than, it's, oh my god. It's worse than like the 1999 pathing. But anyway, but this dock by Ragemaster has long-term value. Now, how did he determine to build 2 docks? Because he's a smart cookie. He's seen enough fish, he knows he needs to build 2 docks. That's why this dock is okay, for the record, by the way. I support this dock because he can retask most of the fishing ships now over to this dock. Don't do it over here, though, unless he's going to build a 3rd dock over here. Is he going to do that? If not, that... No. It looks like he's just scouting. So, yeah, I think that this is a heavy fishing map. The more mid-sea fish you see, the better. If you're not confident, like, at worst case scenario, build your dock next to, like, 2 shore fish, and then you're not totally screwed. But the biggest thing when it comes to whether or not to build a dock, the real question is, because sometimes you're not going to know, and you're going to make a mistake, and you're going to build a dock, and there aren't that many fish. Don't be that guy that overcommits to fishing ships when it makes no sense to. So the real question is, how many fishing ships should you make? But also, it is a really good question to know, when should you make docks, and when should you, and where should you put them? You can make docks, by the way, if there are no mid-tier fish. If there are 4 or more shore fish in a pond on a map like Black Forest, nice snipe there, by the way, then it is actually worthwhile to dock. But you never want to make more than 4 fishing ships in that case. Like, make 3 or 4, and then you're good to go. And the more fish there are, the more fishing ships you should commit. And it's just going to be a party economy that you're going to have to get a feel for as you play the game, is scale it up. But if you don't see that many fish, then 4 fishing ships is a very safe amount, because 4 fishing ships is just enough to sustain villager production. If you're going for like a Fire Galley rush, which a lot of these players are. Now, this is some high-tier gameplay right here. Let me just show this off real quickly. You see the sick micro that Monkey Boy and Hardest AI were doing? I actually shouldn't have shown this off because then it ruins the joke that this isn't actually an AI player. But is it just me, or I just don't like the Fire Galley as a unit? Like, this doesn't excite me. I don't know. I had so much fun getting to know T90 in person at TwitchCon. You have no idea. Like, he was... I think we'd make great friends. I wish he lived in my state. Like, it'd be so cool. I don't know. I'd actually hang out with him. He was awesome. And, maybe we're old purists, but Galley Micro Wars, I always thought were really skill-intensive and exciting. But, let's take a look at something that's equally skill-intensive and exciting. Check out this sick play here. You see how they attack move into each other? Oh, he's just backing off. He's threatening another attack move. Oh, ooh, look at the moves. I need some really intense music for this. And here it comes. The right click has happened. We've boiled down Feudal Age Micro on water maps to, did you focus fire down the Fire Galley? Yes, you did, and that's why Kaladin's a 2K plus player. I know his username is 1999, but don't be like that guy who thinks that things are cheaper at the store because they price them 1999. He has a secondary account. We've seriously boiled down, like, Feudal Age Micro to, you attack move in the general direction of your opponent, and, like, are you focus firing or wasting DPS? That's the question. And advanced tip for you with Fire Galleys, because it's hard to offer advanced tips with such a skill-intensive, interesting unit as the fire ship. But it's true. You want to focus fire down the enemy Fire Galleys, even though the range is short, because that reduces the overall DPS of the opposing army, rather than, like, whittling them all down, right? Because then they're all still dealing damage, so that's just something that you have to keep in mind. In fact, Kaladin is dominating this game with his just immaculate attack moving. But it's not actually just attack moving. I am oversimplifying it for comedic purposes, but, that's what it feels like. Francisco, I respect this, is actually going for galleys. Now, after all the nerfs, this is actually not completely non-viable. You just need to, one, have good micro, which not all players are capable of doing, but Francisco is... Okay, well, this is a little sloppy, but not too bad, not too bad. You have to mass them up a lot. So you can actually go for galleys viably against Fire Galleys with the, if you have a back dock, and you mass them up enough, so that way you can kill off some of the Fire Galleys before they actually get into range. And that's really your main advantage. But they're supposed to be a counter to galleys. And it works, except not in the Feudal Age, because in the Feudal Age, you just get out the Fire Galley first, and then your opponent will never get enough galleys to be able to deal with that. There's just no counter to do it. And maybe that's because the demo raft is too weak, but then you run into some weird side effects of, like, the demo raft being able to kill land units. I don't know. But, like, I look at this, and I'm like, ooh. Is anyone else just riveted by this? This is 2K water play here. This is Kaladin focus firing down the Fire Galleys. Well played, well played. Now, I actually like the demo raft a lot, because one of the main problems with, I guess that's the topic of this video. I'll be just talking about, like, water and the expansions. So this is what I mean by, I want to know if people would be okay with me making content where I talk about a specific topic, and, you know, what, I'm not intended to cast the game. In this one, I will still, and am still casting the game as well. But, like, is it okay for me to do a video where I talk about, like, balance changes and just have, like, a replay in the background? Or, like, 2 or 3 replays? Like, is it okay? Would you mind if I don't spend, like, 60 hours editing it? And it's, like, a podcast with some interesting gameplay in the background that's, like, somewhat relevant? Like, would you mind? Like, that, it's an important question for me. But I like the demo raft a lot as a unit, because what it does is it even though I feel like it's not good enough versus Fire Galleys, I think is the problem. And it's really tough to actually balance it, of course. But it creates a comeback mechanic. That's always been the problem on the water in Age of Empires 2, is that once you fall behind in galley count, like, you either have to outplay the ever-loving piss out of your opponent, or you just get screwed. And one way to mitigate this would be to increase the damage that, like, watchtowers did to ships early on. That would help, because, you know, I'm not impressed by this 1 damage at all. Actually, if the you know, watchtower had, like, a +1 bonus versus ships or something like that, I don't know, maybe that would break the game. I'm trying to start a discussion. You know, it's very difficult in the Feudal Age for you to come back in AOC if you're at a galley deficit. You basically just have to go to the Castle Age and make a play. A watchtower can help you, though, win those fights if you have a couple villagers garrisoned inside them, because, like, dealing 5 repetitive damage can help a little bit and dissuade your opponent from raiding. But really, the ultimate comeback mechanic on the water, in general, is the castle, which we see here from our friend the Hardest AI, which is immaculately well-positioned. I can't believe that they can design AI that would actually not only protect such a valuable choke point, but would protect both of his docks and everything like that. Like, I used to think that they had to build their buildings in, like, a perfect, weird, sort of square-type situation, but it looks like the AI has certainly advanced beyond that, so that's pretty cool. So a castle definitely helps. Basically, if you lose the water in the Feudal Age, you just kind of have to, like, abandon the water and just fast Castle Age and whatnot, and just see where you can go from there. But I've always liked demolition ships. I always felt that they're a really skill-intensive unit. You get the right demolition timing off, and you're good to go. But the demo raft's blast radius is so small and unsatisfying. That's just my food for thought. One of the cool things, though, about Francisco going for his war galleys, right, instead of fire ships, is that, like, water's not, like, horribly imbalanced right now. It's really not. Like, galleys are, I think, better than people think they are. You just need to mass them up a little bit. You can't just, like, rush them out. Just the reason that people go for Fire Galleys to start off with is so they can start picking off the fishing ships immediately while the galley guy gets ready. But, you know, Francisco, you see what he gets to do that no one else gets to do? Besides play, like, spaghetti of balance known as the Portuguese, is he gets to raid the ever-loving piss out of his opponent's shorelines. Ooh, this could be a deadly demo raft. Ah, not quite. God, I love the demolition ship mechanic, though. Like, it's so satisfying to, like, especially if you manually detonate it, it's so sick. and you get that off. But he gets to do some raiding, and that is one of the things that balances it out. Is if you go for like mono Fire Galleys, you really get screwed later when you don't get to raid the coastline. Like Kaladin is just absolutely dominating Motham on this side right now. I can't believe he's in the Imperial Age. But I say that. Of course you can believe he's in the Imperial Age. Why is that exactly? Well, look at his population. He has over 50... He has 60 fishing ships. That's how he got to the Imperial Age so fast, and why he's so strong, and why Motham is in deep trouble, and will now have to build as many town centers as humanly possible in the middle of the map if he wants to survive. So, goddamn, that's impressive. And yeah, this is one of the advantages of going for galleys. I think in the Castle Age, the dynamic shifts a little bit, and War Galleys, you know, after the balance changes, FE, Forgotten Empires has been generally pretty good about this. War Galleys certainly have their place, for sure. And so do regular Feudal Age Galleys. People will still get a feel for the metagame. Heated Shot, though, once Heated Shot comes out, like, please tell me Motham's gonna get the Heated Shot upgrade. Because that could save him his island, honestly. And, the question is, though, is, like, how valuable is this island? Not really. Like, he can just mine this gold and stone without having to deal with the ships. He can't mine that stone, though. They need to fix that bug. I can't believe they haven't fixed that bug yet where the sounds play really loudly. Please, the people who watch this on YouTube, there will at least be a few thousand of you. Leave a, you know, if I get like 5 to 10 of you to leave a polite comment on the Steam forums like, hey, remember that bug where if a bunch of units try to garrison in something and it's full, and it plays the sound effect so loudly that it's actually killed people? It hasn't actually killed anybody. You know, with enough community pressure, Skybox might fix that bug before the development cycle ends, because the bug has only been over here for about 2 years. So, you know, please do post on the Steam forums. Let's get, you know, maybe tweet at Age of Empires, I don't know. Don't tweet spam them, though, please don't. So, talking about the game itself, Cal's just playing super well, and the reason he's able to do this is because, again, he's got so much of a fishing economy. Holy shit, this is like the sickest... Alright, I know what to title and thumbnail this video. Oh my god, the Malay on the water are batshit insane. I mean, this like... Because he is like the only civ in the game where he can build like 60 fishing ships, use it to get to the Imperial Age, get there 80% faster too, to get the Galleon upgrade, to get Bracer, and then... You know, and then he builds the castles on the mainland, and now he gets to start swarming everybody with elite Karambit warriors who create in like 6 seconds. And even though this unit like really sucks shit, it doesn't matter. It creates quickly. It costs nothing, and he's just trying to raid. And everyone is investing all their money in a like actual physical navy, so they have no land defense. So it doesn't matter if you're attacking your opponent with an army of Swiss cheese. Look at these guys, they're dual-wielding fucking butter knives. 6 damage. But seriously, I really appreciate the decision to actually buff the regular Castle Age Karambit warrior to 6 damage, because before that it was like the saddest thing ever, like watching them being like unable to kill monks or like anything. This unit was so bad. But it's amazing actually, the elite Karambit warrior is too strong. Part of it was the fact that like the unit like, yeah, so once it gets clothes on, even though it doesn't get them on graphically, it's the pants that are now made from better quality leather and shorts. Plus 1/1 armor makes a huge difference, and the additional 10 HP and the additional 2 attack. That's actually why the Karambit warrior is getting nerfed. The elite Karambit warrior is, because you just don't need an eco really to produce this. And I mentioned earlier, you know, like, why are the Malay so good on the water? Like, this civ is fucking disgusting on the water. It is disgusting, because there's no other civ in the game that can commit to 60 fishing ships and never have to worry about the long term, like, oh, did I invest too much wood in my fishing ships? No, you didn't, my friend, because your fish traps are infinite. And that's sick. That's so sick, especially if you remember to research gill nets. That's right, I pronounced it correctly this time. Can you believe it? For like a year I was pronouncing it gill nets. I forget where I got that from. I think I got that from, was it like a Resident Evil game or something like that? That was a meme for a while. I think it was Resident Evil or Silent Hill. There's one line of dialogue in the game is... he calls her like, yeah, at least you're not a Jill sandwich or something like that. I butchered that reference. It's a really old one. And I called it Jill nets. It's gill nets, which makes sense because you catch the fish in the gills, obviously. So yeah, believe it or not, no one really thought initially that this unit could be OP. But it just so turns out that it costs half a population, it creates in 6 seconds, and it's just an army of garbage that you can just swarm people with. And since Artisan is a +2 attack bonus for buildings and attack bonuses ignore armor, you can actually use them to kill buildings. I mean, granted, it's really inefficient. Like, don't throw these things at castles. But you can throw them at town centers and just... Kaladin, I would say, is abusing the Malay to their fullest potential. The only thing he's not doing is researching harbors. But that's just because he has such insane, like, naval supremacy that doesn't matter. But, like, most civilizations would feel guilty about investing in... How many fishing ships at this point? Well, again, it's still about... it's about 50, yeah. Maybe he deleted some, I'm not sure. He may have. But he can just make, fish traps. And if you want to know how efficient fish traps are with the Malay, then watch my Malay civilization overview. Maybe one of my mods can link that. That'd be great. Usually in the video description I have a link to my Civ overview videos, or you can just go to my channel and search for Malay Civ overview. I did a lot of calculations on that to show that if you position them well enough, they're about as efficient as a farmer with handcart. And this is good. This is just good. These are infinite. They build value over time. Like, that's what you also have to consider. And Age of Empires is such a complicated game. Many, many factors come into play here. You never have to reseed these. Kaladin never has to build any farms. This allows him to save wood, which he can spend on trebuchets and elite Karambit warriors and deal some serious damage. Now, granted, this unit is insane in a 1 versus 1. Tato called it one of the most OP units in a 1 versus 1, period, but it is not as strong in team games, because those games tend to go longer, and this unit is countered by virtually everything, but it is still a little strong, and certainly deserving of some nerfs. So Monkey Boy out here with the elite plumed archers, I mean, it's safe to say that the blue, green, and gray team have just such a decisive lead. It's a combination of factors here that have allowed them to come out on top. Naval supremacy from Kaladin, the fact that he got such a fast Imperial Age off the back of this. The only thing he's not abusing is harbors, and he could even be abusing that. He should get the harbor upgrade anyway, and like, you can build harbors, just to control the flow of, just to protect your island. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to balance a fortification that can attack that does not cost stone. So personally, I always worry about that, because like, I feel like the harbor is always going to exist in an area where it's either just broken, or it is too weak to be used just because it doesn't cost stone. Like, that's what balances out fortifications. The Malay, they're really damn good water civ, and so yeah, he was able to. I mean, he was versus Italians. Italians are really good too. Italians are really, really good. But I'd just say it probably came down to better control early on, and Kaladin's just playing a flawless game here. Just, he knows how to close it out with the elite cannon galleons now. Yeah, he just had a little bit better control early on, I think, that let him snowball the game. But it wasn't just him; it was a team effort. So we look at one of the things that Gray was doing was that Gray went like really hard for war galleys, and he massed it up, full well knowing that his teammates, like Green, actually had water supremacy. So this was so smart on their as a team. Okay, we can't post this then on Reddit complimenting the hardest AI anymore. We can't do that. We can post it on Reddit for other reasons though. If you want to actually promote the channel and give me a hand, that's fine. But we can no longer make it a circle jerk about the hardest AI because it lost. But anyway. So, I want to break this match down for you all. So, we talked about Kaladin. Why else did they win? Green, with superior control on the bottom versus the hardest AI, managed to win his side with the Fire Galleys. This was very, very significant that he had water control here. I think that our hardest AI friend actually responded very appropriately with, defensive castle and everything. Just trying to Like right here, you know, protect his docks. You know, the guard tower, I bet he got heated shot. I hope he did. I really do. I hope that some of these players did. It's an upgrade that is criminally underrated for how helpful it can be at just deleting a navy that accidentally walks in the wrong direction. And then, since Green had superior control and Kaladin had superior control, this allowed Gray to go for War Galleys. And if Francisco didn't go for War Galleys, I think this would have been a very different game. I think that was extremely significant, because it allowed him to raid these coastlines, as we see him doing over there right now. And really just cripple Rage Master and all these players who had, you know, most of their economy on land at this point because they had lost water control, so they had to start building farms. And, well, you start with 2 town centers in this map, and guess what? These galleons get the farms. And if Francisco made, I think it would have been a mistake to make too many Fire Galleys. It wouldn't have offered any offensive pressure, and it would have been a lot harder on his teammates. It would have been very difficult for Kaladin to press the advantage, and it would have also been very difficult for Monkey Boy to press the advantage on the bottom side of the map. But Francisco, even though he was the lowest score in his team, created the space to allow his teammates to dominate and then take over the middle island, which is, of course, obviously the central objective. This is a migration-style map where you want to get to the middle, where you can get, you know, all the resources, because eventually you're going to run out of stuff on the mainland, right? So establish water dominance first on a map like this, like Migration, then establish land dominance. But in order to establish water dominance, it pays to have some help, some ranged attackers. Look at this. Look at this eco damage. Farms on fire. All these guard towers being forced around the coastline. Sick, nasty. And Kaladin, like, he made so many fishing ships. They even have trade cogs. Goddamn. They even have trade cogs. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, this is just such a great Malay game. This is the, I mean, I have a video called the quintessential, like the full Malay experience, which you should really watch because it is, but this is like the full Malay water experience for sure. Now, this civ is beatable on the water. Like, the Italians are a great water civ too. They're absolutely insane beyond reason. And I think that there were a decent amount of good water civs. Yeah, Saracens are nuts too. Like, they're really, really good in the water. Aztecs are one of the worst water civs in the game, actually, so that was probably a major factor in them losing this game, to be honest. And I'm really glad that the Aztecs got demo rafts, because they didn't used to. So, again, glad that Decision values my feedback so much. Like, I can't tell you how thankful I am for that. Like, it warms my heart to see, like, not only him asking me, like, about the state of balance, because I talk to you guys all the time, and I read all your comments, and I play the game. You know, thousands of hours of playtesting, various combinations of things, and, you know, giving the Aztecs demo rafts, thank God. Thank God. But, yeah, I think that was a major factor in them losing, was that Rage Master, I mean, he randomed the worst water civ in the game. Why the worst water civ in the game? Ooh. Well, at least they have fast fire ship and dry dock. But, you know, that's not good enough. You need galleons. They're the only civ in the game without galleons. And there are a lot of civs in the game with galleons that don't have bracer, but you'd much rather have just the galleon upgrade. And not having cannon galleons either can be a real problem. Now, granted, the Aztecs in the early game on water aren't that bad because they do a really good eco with the villagers not having to walk as much, being able to carry +5 resources. But, I mean, this is not who you want in the pocket as your water civ. No, this is like the worst one you could ask for, because you'd ideally want galleons from your pocket water civ, like with Francisco. He didn't need to go up to galleon, though. He stopped at War Galley. He did his job. He did his job, and then he focused on the land. And these guys just played so well as a team. Like, hopefully you all learned something here, and you found my insight useful. Like, yeah, this is just a fantastic game. I dig it. It was a little stompy, but you know. Now I'm gonna go quickly read through all the questions and everything. Panzer says, "Screw Skybox." Well, I can't say that. You know, you can say that. I can't say that. Game development is complicated. For me, passion is a very important thing, and you know that's why. While I could just go out and get another job, I want to get a job in something I'm passionate on, and you know that's why. I think it'd be really cool if I could come back to you know, Forgotten Empires full time. That'd be kind of nice. I'm still on the team. It's just, you know, I just do volunteer, like balance testing and QA and stuff. Just all volunteer. I just like to be on the team. Like, we're like a family, right? But yeah, I don't know. It really helps, I think, in any game to have the people that work on the game actually play the game. And perhaps Skybox's biggest mistake ever was revealing to the community that they're, well, I mean, if you've seen the VODs of their live stream of their QA guys playing the game was a little unfortunate. Because, yeah, then you don't know how things are supposed to behave when you're doing QA testing if you don't play the game, so it really helps to play the game. Kangaroo Driver says, videos talking about a topic like how to make a water army would be good that we could just listen to. Yeah, if you don't mind me just not having to edit the ever-loving crap out of them, then I can totally do that. Like, please let me know. I'd love to do that. Like Kangaroo Driver says, like, how can you tell when you should make a demo raft instead of trying to master Fire Galleys? Make a demo raft when you were a little bit behind, but you have enough units that you're able to actually escort the demo raft. Also, if your opponent is, like, surrounding your dock with Fire Galleys, you know, like they have it in a fan shape, right? And they're focus firing down. That, Kangaroo Driver, is when you want to make the demo raft, because they're all clumped up and they won't have time to react, and then you just spawn the demo raft out, and it'll detonate and it'll deal a ton of damage. So that's one example of that. Mixing an A demo raft with Fire Galleys, provided you're at a similar number, can really turn the game around, but yeah, that's something I could certainly do. Yeah, let's see, did I miss anything else? Hey, oh, Sir Lawrence, welcome to the stream, cool to see ya. A lot of new faces today as well. Hello, Visbin Cygnus, welcome to the stream. JT Lonely says, I think you may be using the meat cleaver for buttering. Well, the Elite Karambit Warrior, I mean, the difference between 8 and 7 attack is actually huge. It's a colossal nerf to the unit. But really, the problem with this unit is not its stats, it's its creation time, and the fact it costs half a population. But it's mostly the creation time. Like, this unit sucks butt. Like, it's actually sad. But conceptually, it's very hard to balance a unit that costs so little and spawns so fast. I would say if there was more of a drawback to making this unit, like, personally, I would have advocated for increasing the cost of it very slightly, rather than nerfing the combat stats, because combat stats, nerfing them on a unit is a great way to turn a unit that is viable into something that will never see play ever. Whereas I really like how Forgotten Empires had been previously tuning the Condottiero. I think that these nerfs were kind of warranted, though, at this point. You know, with the creation time. And I think the Karambit Warrior creation time was a good way to look at the Elite One. I think initially taking off the Pierce Armor was good, though. That needed to happen. And then I look at the cost. You know, like, the Shoto Warrior is... I joke about it all the time, but it's a super well-balanced unit that new players just don't know how to deal with at all, because they're just not... They just don't know how to deal with it at all. And that's why I try to teach them. Make ranged units. It's so cost inefficient for them to throw away those Shoto Warriors. They cost 35 gold apiece. It's a huge drawback. Karambit Warrior only costs 10 gold and 25 food. Like, you can make it on... It's such a degenerate unit in 1v1s, particularly because you can have, like, such a low food eco and just spawn these guys out like crazy. So I think increasing the cost, you know, the gold cost would be a huge nerf to them. Like, if it was 15 compared to 10, maybe that's necessary. I don't know. But, you know, increasing the food cost by 5 would be a big nerf that, you know, would be interesting. I think it would make the unit, you know, have some more interesting drawbacks, for example. It's just another way of balancing it. But I do think that taking one attack off it's probably fine. It's probably fine. The unit will survive. Good game. Hope you all enjoyed my commentary. A lot. Did I miss anything else? Chewy Congo, welcome to stream. Says, do ships have legs? No, not quite. Hey, Fangirl Cute Story. Oh, I did miss a $10 donation. Oh, that's why I'm still here. Buddha Sensei, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He says, hey, hello there. I'm sitting in a sweet-ass hotel and having Christmas with my family. Merry Christmas, Rez, and Happy New Year, May. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, and Happy New Year in advance as well. Dude, seriously, thank you so much, Buddha Sensei. I really appreciate the $10. Seriously, the support that I've been getting on Patreon, YouTube, Twitch recently has been overwhelming. I just hope to increase my actual raw numbers. And in January, I'm going to be doing a big overhaul of my content to try my best to make it more digestible, higher quality, and with your support, sharing it around, like on various like social media hubs, like not just to your friends, and giving me feedback and whatnot. I think that we can maybe do something here. I'm excited. And the $10 helps me out so much in this situation, so seriously. And I would like to spend more time focusing, I think, on polishing my streaming content and making like the best goddamn stream I can, doing more of that, and creating that type of content that's also suitable for YouTube, rather than spending like 60 plus hours editing together a video on Eagle Warriors. Like, if I knew that you guys were okay with me just having stuff in the background, but it's mostly just me talking, if people don't mind that, then I can produce that content faster. I do like high budget tutorials though. I think the game needs more of those. And if I get enough support, I would love to make more. But those are so time consuming and so much work. Like the Night Rush tutorial, blood, sweat, tears, like so much research. Oh, but I think the game needs those type of high-level production quality tutorials, because otherwise, you want new players. Everything I do is about driving new players into the game, and then keeping them engaged with the game, and then building them up to intermediate players, and then hopefully like really competitive players, and seeing that progress. But my number one priority is to grow the community. So, and I think you need to do that through having like really high production quality tutorials that explain things like immaculately well. You can't be lazy with tutorials, but with everything else, I would love to do them more vlog style. I hope that that's okay. Yeah. If people don't mind that, then I can release opinion videos a lot easier. But yeah, 60 plus hours. I put a lot of work into what I do, and that's why it warms my heart to see so many people support me on Patreon. So I'll be overhauling my goals a little bit to try and set something a little bit more reasonable for myself. And I think that'll just be better for everybody. I'm looking forward to killing off Lobby Simulator for good, man. Good night, Jonesy. Take care, dude. Take care. By the way, the Vikings are good on water. Kanye Twist is right. Epit asked, when Indians had arbs removed, you said you would have balanced them differently. How would you have balanced them? That's a great question. I would have targeted their economy. I would have taken a little bit of HP off the Imperial Camel, I think. Maybe like 5, like a small little slap on the wrist. And I would have targeted their villager discount, which right now I think is too high. I personally think that their insane economy is the biggest problem, and it's still a big problem. It's just really hard to balance that type of discount. It was too weak before, but Aoe2 is a tough numbers game. And again, I've worked in the industry. Like I was and still am, but to a lesser degree, heavily been involved with balance in this game for years. And just in general, it's really hard. The difference between when we raised it from 5% to 10%, like that's just, because we can't make it some like weird, perfectly balanced number like 6.5% or something silly. So I would have done something creative, I think, and made it so that the villager discount like stopped scaling maybe in the Castle Age, for example. Maybe it's your villagers cost 10% less in the Feudal Age, 15% less in the... Or sorry, 10% less in the Dark Age, 15% less in the Feudal Age, and that's just it. Or maybe you make it just a flat bonus, like your villagers cost 15% less. Because the problem is that the Indians, once they get to the Castle Age, they pop down the town centers, and then they start booming really crazy, and then they have this insane tech tree and insane units that are so hard to counter. Taking away Arbalest, though, is a change I respect, and it did have an interesting positive impact on them, and I definitely get it. Thank you, Epi, for asking that question. That's a good one. I'd like to do more Q&A stuff like this, and I will do a Q&A with my Patreon supporters soon, so. I'm surprised no one's left while I've been rambling. Hopefully I've been saying insightful things, but it's your guys' responsibility to let me know if I'm saying insightful things. I need the feedback. So yeah, removing arbs definitely made this infinitely more balanced. It wouldn't have been the change I would have made, but I totally respect and understand it. And that's how I approach everything in life. Is even the things I wouldn't have done it that way. I always try to understand the other side. In this case, I think the decision made a nerf that made sense, and it limits the Indians' tech tree. So it was another way to address the problem. And I understand why he would do it that way, because my change would be maybe slightly less intuitive, for example. Mythology asks, hey Rez, are there any presents you're gifting this year that you're particularly proud of? Well, one, it's really good to see you again, Mythology. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, and I don't know if that's true, but I feel like I haven't. So yeah, great to see you again. I have absolutely no money right now. All the money I have is from Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon. I recently lost my job, so I can't really afford to give out Christmas gifts this year, and I'm actually a little sad about that, Mythology. My number one priority right now is I gotta pay the rent because I'm trapped in this lease for a while because I moved for my job. And then I can worry about the presents. Now the good news is that when I did have some money, when I had a lot of money actually, when I had a good salary, I'm still upset about this, but this was a cool thing though. I am happy that during TwitchCon, after hanging out with Tristan, when Tristan was tired and he wanted to go back to his room, because I was having so much fun hanging out with T90 Official. He's such a cool guy. I was like, it's shopping spree time. This is what I've been saving up all my money for. Is I was just buying really rare art gifts for all my friends for their upcoming birthdays, just to surprise them and be like, where the hell did you get this? How would you get this handmade collector's item? And I bought a ton of them. So while I don't have any Christmas gifts I can give out this year, Mythology, one of my best friends, Jack, who gave me a place to live last year, I really appreciate. I got a really cool birthday present for him that I bought at TwitchCon. So I hope he likes it. And then yeah, so we'll see. As far as Christmas stuff goes, maybe I can give people a couple Hearthstone packs. Some of my luggage got stolen at the airport though. It sucks. I lost some of my elaborate art pieces, which is unfortunate, but that's my fault for leaving my luggage unattended for literally 2 minutes. It happens. Welcome back, Ornlu. Good night, Delta. Always a pleasure to have you. Epid asks, how is faster villager creation for Persians not broken? Very good question, comrade. Let me sit you down very, very briefly. You see, what this is, it actually, I believe, okay, I might be wrong about this, but I believe it does not apply in the Dark Age, which is actually a huge thing. I think it's just Feudal, Castle, and Imperial Age, but all these tooltips are always wrong and everything. And creation, work rate is very different than a cost discount. If you think about it, the Indians get, 20% cheaper villagers in the... I'll stop rambling in a moment, but some people watch the videos to the end, so you get a little extra. I appreciate it. Let's say you make 80 villagers in the Castle Age, so that's 80 times 50, and then how much food are you saving? I mean, you're saving about 800 food during your boom as the Indians, and that's almost the Imperial Age. So, but the Persians are strong though; it's just not broken. And you also have to look at it in the context of the entire civilization. You have to look at it in the entire context of the Civ. This is a Civ that is really weird. The Imperial Camel is just a unit that's just really hard to beat, for example. And it used to be that they just had too broad of a tech tree. Their archery range. Their archery range in Aoe2 is one of those things that you want to really leverage when you get to the next stage because of the super cheap upgrades, like to Crossman, Bodkin Arrow, and then Arbalist plus Bracer. So, since the Indians had the world's most insane boom, they could just leverage arbalests and siege rams and just blow people to smithereens. They can't do that anymore. They have to do something else, which is good. Don't get me wrong, though. The Persians are a good civ. They've always been a good civ. This is a good bonus. It's a good bonus. It also applies to research speed, too. Yeah. And yeah, hand cannons still work well, for sure. Tammy Sparrow asks, favorite Pokemon in design? I think Vaporeon, but Arcanine and Gudra and Vaporeon are my top 3 favorite Pokemon, but I think Vaporeon is my favorite designed Pokemon. But I have favorite Pokemon for many reasons. But Arcanine's like so cool, dude. So cool. Thank you so much, Crockett, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. I mean, if a mod or I say it's okay, then maybe Epid, but you know, we try to not advertise here. Alright, see ya, Psychotic Ace, thank you for tuning in. This is the end of the stream, by the way, everybody. Happy holidays. Even though no one left during my explanation, so please leave a comment, I guess, on YouTube if my explanations on things were interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I always try my best. If you want to support me, one of the best ways to do it is to, you know, go to my variety playlist. Link is in the description of every video, and it's also right here in the Twitch chat, and leave a like rating on those things. Actually supporting the content to do for games beyond just Aoe2. Like, it's to grow the Aoe2 community. It's for my own sanity, to allow me to be able to continue to express my own creativity, and even if those are not games you're interested in, like, even just supporting it, or giving it a shot, or, you know, suggesting me games you're interested in, or, you know, leaving a thumbs up, it makes a difference. Because you're bringing more people into AoE2. Everyone plays this game, but few people know it still has an online community. You see the evidence, it's everywhere. Every day there's like a new Reddit thread like, I want to get back into playing AoE2. Do people still play this online? Yes, they do. So you can grow the community by supporting that content. And you can also help me keep my apartment by supporting me on Patreon. And I'd also appreciate it if you follow my social media, as that also helps out a lot. Of course I remember you, Mythology. I remember every single person that comes in chat. When I started my channel, welcome, Adoro... I got this. Adora Talebo. Adoro Talebo. Got it. I remember everyone that comes into my Twitch chat, and in my YouTube comments. I just can't remember multiple names for people, and since you've never changed your name, that's good for me. And I can't remember what time zone people live in, but yeah. I mean, when I started YouTube and Twitch, my goal was to try and actually treat people like people and see how that worked out. And I think it's been working out pretty well, although my view count on YouTube has recently been rather low, so I really need to fix that. And on Twitch, too. And I'm going to try my best to fix that by really overhauling the way I do my content. And with all your help, maybe I can do something with this. We'll see. So, that's the end of today's stream. Hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all have a wonderful holiday season. I will be streaming again tomorrow. It'll be a special little, Christmas holiday stream. And, yeah. Have a wonderful holiday season. I'm going to run some ads